Before we start cooking, let me tell you something. You don't need a classroom to practice English. You don't need to memorize hundreds of grammar rules. And you don't even need to sit down and study for hours. You can practice English while doing something you already do every day, cooking. So in this video, we're going to turn a simple cooking session into an English lesson. I'll speak slowly and naturally, and I'll show you how to describe the ingredients, the actions, and everything happening in the kitchen. And if you're learning English and you want to speak more naturally, subscribe to the channel because we're going to practice together. Now, let's go into the kitchen. Part 1. Getting ready to cook. Okay, let's start. First, I'm going to prepare everything I need. When we talk about cooking, one of the easiest ways to practice English is by naming the ingredients. So, what do I have here? I have some onions, I have a tomato, I have some green peppers, and I have some chicken. I also have some salt, black pepper, and a little bit of olive oil. Now, don't just listen to these words. Try to say them with me. Onion, tomato, green pepper, chicken, salt, black pepper, olive oil. Great. Now let's practice some simple sentences. Instead of saying, I have a tomato, you can make it more natural by saying, I've got a tomato. I've got some onions. I've got some chicken. I've got everything I need. That last sentence is very useful in everyday English. I've got everything I need. It means you have all the things necessary to do something. For example, I've got everything I need for dinner. I've got everything I need for work. I've got everything I need for the trip. Now let's start preparing the food. First, I'm going to wash the vegetables. You can say, I'm washing the vegetables. Notice something important here. I'm not saying, I wash the vegetables. I'm saying, I'm washing the vegetables. Because I'm talking about something I'm doing right now. This is a very natural way to practice the present continuous. I'm washing the vegetables. I'm cutting the onions. I'm chopping the peppers. I'm preparing the chicken. I'm getting everything ready. These sentences are simple, but they're exactly the kind of English you can use in real life. So here's your first challenge. Look around your kitchen and describe what you're doing in English. Don't worry about making perfect sentences. Just speak. For example, I'm washing the dishes. I'm making coffee. I'm cutting some vegetables. I'm preparing breakfast. The goal isn't to sound perfect. The goal is to keep speaking. And that's how we're going to practice English throughout this cooking session. Part 2. Preparing the ingredients. Now that everything is ready, let's start preparing our ingredients. I'm going to start with the onion. First, I'm going to peel the onion. Peel means to remove the outside layer of something, like an onion, potato, or carrot. So I can say, I'm peeling the onion. Now I'm going to cut the onion into small pieces. I'm holding the knife carefully, and I'm cutting the onion. I'm cutting the onion. You can also use the word chop. Chop means to cut something into smaller pieces. So instead of saying, I'm cutting the onion, I can say, I'm chopping the onion. Let's repeat that. Chop the onion, chop the vegetables, chop the garlic. These are very common expressions in cooking. Now I'm going to prepare the tomato. I'm going to slice the tomato. Slice means to cut something into thin, flat pieces. So, I'm slicing the tomato. We have 3 useful cooking words already. Peel, chop, slice. And here's an easy way to remember them. You peel the outside. You chop something into small pieces, and you slice something into thin pieces. Now let's move on to the chicken. I'm going to cut the chicken into smaller pieces. I'm cutting the chicken into small pieces. Then I'm going to add some salt. I'm adding some salt. And some black pepper. I'm adding some black pepper. Notice the verb add. We use add when we put something into something else. For example, Add some salt, add some pepper, add some water, add some sugar. Now I'm going to mix everything together. I'm mixing the ingredients. And here's another useful expression. Mix everything together. Try saying it naturally. Mix everything together. Great. Now imagine you're cooking at home and you're talking to yourself in English. You could say, I'm peeling the onion. I'm chopping the vegetables. I'm slicing the tomato. I'm cutting the chicken. I'm adding some salt. I'm mixing everything together. Look how much English you can practice without opening a textbook. You're not studying isolated vocabulary. You're connecting English with real actions. And that's what makes it easier to remember. So don't just learn the word chop. Actually chop something and say, I'm chopping the vegetables. Don't just memorize add. Add something and say, I'm adding some salt. When your brain connects the English word with the action, the language starts to feel much more natural. And now that our ingredients are prepared, it's time to start cooking. Part 3. Cooking and describing what you do. Now while our ingredients are ready, let's turn on the stove. I'm going to put a pan on the stove. I'm putting the pan on the stove. Now I'm going to add some olive oil. I'm adding some olive oil to the pan. We need to let the oil heat up. So I can say, I'm waiting for the oil to heat up. Heat up is a very useful expression. It means something becomes hotter. For example, the water is heating up. The oven is heating up. The pan is heating up. Now the oil is hot enough. I'm going to add the onions. I'm adding the onions to the pan. Listen to the sound. The onions are starting to cook. Now I'm going to stir them. Stir is an important cooking word. It means moving food around with a spoon or another utensil. So I can say, I'm stirring the onions. Let's practice it. I'm stirring the onions. I'm stirring the sauce. I'm stirring everything together. Now I'm going to add the peppers. I'm adding the peppers. And I'm going to stir everything together. I'm stirring everything together. The onions are becoming softer, and they're starting to change color. I can say, the onions are turning golden brown. That's a very useful phrase when you're talking about cooking. Now it's time to add the chicken. I'm going to carefully put the chicken into the pan. I'm adding the chicken to the pan. Now I'm going to cook it for a few minutes. While I'm cooking, I can describe what's happening. The chicken is cooking. The vegetables are getting softer. The pan is getting hotter. Everything smells really good. And here's an expression that native speakers use all the time. It smells amazing. You can use this expression whenever something has a very good smell. For example, the coffee smells amazing. The cake smells amazing. This food smells amazing. Now I'm going to add some black pepper. I'm adding some black pepper. And a little bit of salt. I'm adding a little bit of salt. Notice the expression, a little bit of. We use it when we want a small amount of something. A little bit of salt, a little bit of water, a little bit of sugar. Now I'm going to keep stirring. I'm stirring the chicken and the vegetables together. At this point, don't worry about using complicated English. Look at what you're doing and simply describe it. If you're cutting something, I'm cutting it. If you're adding something, I'm adding it. If you're mixing something, I'm mixing it. If you're waiting, I'm waiting for it to cook. This is one of the best ways to practice speaking English naturally. You don't need to translate a complicated sentence from Arabic in your head. Just look at the action and say what you see. Now the chicken is almost ready. The vegetables look great, and the kitchen smells amazing. But we're not finished yet. We still need to add the final ingredients. And then we're going to sit down and talk about how you can use this same technique to practice English every single day. Part 4. Finishing the meal and practicing English every day. Okay, our chicken is almost ready. I'm going to give it a few more minutes. I'm letting it cook for a few more minutes. And now I'm going to add the final ingredient. A little bit of sauce. I'm adding some sauce. Now I'm going to mix everything together one last time. I'm mixing everything together. The color looks great. The vegetables are soft. The chicken is fully cooked. And honestly, it smells amazing. Now I'm going to turn off the stove. I'm turning off the stove. And I'm going to let the food rest for a minute. I'm letting the food rest. Now let's put everything on a plate. I'm serving the food. And there we go. Our meal is ready. Now, here's the important part. You might be thinking, okay, this was a cooking lesson, but how can this actually improve my English? The answer is simple. Talk to yourself. You don't need someone to practice with all the time. When you're making breakfast, speak English. When you're making coffee, speak English. When you're cleaning the kitchen, speak English. Describe what you're doing. For example, I'm making breakfast. I'm cutting some bread. I'm making some coffee. I'm washing the dishes. I'm cleaning the kitchen. These sentences may sound very simple, but simple English that you actually use is much more valuable than complicated English that you never speak. And here's another important tip. Don't try to translate everything from your native language. Instead, look at something. Think about the action and describe it directly in English. You see a knife? It's a knife. You're using it? I'm cutting the vegetables. You smell the food? It smells amazing. You're waiting? I'm waiting for the food to cook. That's how you start thinking in English, little by little, one sentence at a time, one action at a time, and eventually, English stops feeling like a subject you're studying and starts feeling like something you're actually using. So the next time you're in your kitchen, don't just cook. Practice English while you cook. Name the ingredients. Describe your actions. Talk about what you see. Talk about what you smell. Talk about what you're doing. And don't worry about making mistakes. Because the goal isn't perfect English. The goal is natural English. And the more you speak, the more natural it becomes. If you enjoyed this lesson, subscribe to the channel, and in the next video, we'll use another everyday situation to practice real English together. Until then, keep practicing, keep speaking, and I'll see you in the next one.